Starting an LLC in Texas sounds easy until you realize how many legal loopholes there are to jump through. Skip a step and it could cost you time, money, or even your personal privacy. So in this video, I will break down everything you need to know into simple, stress-free steps so that you can start strong and stay compliant. And there is one overlooked step that trips up more new business owners than any other, but we'll get to that here in a minute. So first, let's get straight to it here. So Texas is a top pick for starting an LLC. The state offers no individual or business income tax, so you keep more of what you earn, plain and simple. But that's not all. Texas has been ranked the best business climate in the country for 3 years in a row, drawing big companies and small startups alike. In fact, more than 13,000 investment projects landed there in 2024, and the local economy is one of the largest in the world. Plus, Texas LLCs offer flexible tax options and are surprisingly easy to set up. So if you're looking for growth, safety, and a strong market, Texas lets you start with confidence. So let's go ahead and move on to the first step, which is naming your LLC, a step that has some rules to it and is much more important than most people expect. But I do want to say before we jump in too deep here, here's one thing to keep in mind. So starting your business, it should be exciting and not overwhelming. But forming an LLC on your own, I know that can get really confusing fast with all the legal forms, rules, and easy to miss details. Now, I will walk you through everything in this video, but if any part of this feels confusing, I've got a favorite LLC formation service that makes the whole process super simple and stress-free. It's guided, beginner-friendly, and it only costs $39. So if you hit any bumps along the way in this video, just go ahead and click right up here to get step-by-step help setting up your LLC the easy way. All right, so picking the right name for your LLC, it sounds simple, but it's a little bit trickier than most people expect. So the state wants your business name to be unique. So if there's already a similar name on file with the Secretary of State, well, yours will probably get rejected instantly. You'll also need to add limited liability company, LLC, or LLC, or a different approved abbreviation to the end of your name. There's no skipping this step either if you want to stay out of paperwork limbo. And certain words are, strictly off limits. So if your dream business name includes, bank or anything that sounds like kind of a government agency or entity, just know that you'll need special approval and it's rarely worth the extra hassle. Anything misleading or offensive is out too, so just make sure to play it safe. But save yourself a massive headache and do a quick search on the Texas Secretary of State's website, which by the way is linked to below, along with every other resource included in this video. So checking before you order business cards or build a website can stop a ton of future frustration. And once you've picked a name that's unique, clean, and ticks all the legal boxes, you're ready for the next step, which is picking your registered agent. And trust me, this part matters way more than most people think. So here's the deal. Every LLC in Texas that needs a registered agent. This person or business is your official mailbox, right? They're the ones who get important legal notices and state documents. So, missing this step is a no-go if you want to stay legit. Now, while you can technically serve as your own registered agent if you have a Texas address and stay available during business hours, most people, they eventually regret putting their personal info out there for anyone to see. And this is one of the big reasons why I personally recommend a professional service. Now, for me, my preferred provider is Northwest Registered Agent. I've used them myself, and they're known for their strong privacy protections, excellent customer support, and straightforward pricing. And if you hire them to help form your LLC, the cost is only $39. Now, one of the best perks of using them is that you can use their business address on your public filings, which helps keep your personal address private and cuts down on junk mail. Now, if you want to check them out, go ahead and click right up here to learn more about them. But having a professional registered agent, it really means that you never have to worry about being available all day or risking a surprise lawsuit notice at your home, right? Plus, their extra layer of privacy is a huge relief for most folks, especially if you work from home like me. Now, once this is all set up, you're ready to file a certificate of formation and really make things official. All right, so once you've settled on your name and your chosen registered agent, it's time to file the certificate of formation, which is Form 205, with the Texas Secretary of State, either online, by mail, or in person. You'll share info like your LLC's name, the registered agent's contact, and your business structure. You'll also need basic organizer and member details. The state filing fee is $300, and if you file online using SOS Direct, expect a small card fee of about $8. And now online filings are usually processed within 3 to 15 business days, while mail submissions, they may take a bit longer than that. And you'll get notified once your LLC is officially approved. And at that point, you can start signing contracts, hiring employees, and opening business bank accounts. Now, the whole process is actually pretty straightforward. Most people, they fill out the form themselves without needing any like attorney or anything like that. Now, next up here, let's talk about why creating an operating agreement, even though Texas doesn't require one, can save you from some major headaches later. Okay, so here's a step that most new business owners will skip, and what I actually hinted at in the beginning of the video, but honestly, don't skip it. Texas doesn't require an LLC operating agreement, but having one can save you from some seriously messy arguments, confusion, or even lawsuits down the road. This document sets out how your LLC runs, who makes decisions, how profits are split, and what happens if someone wants out or the business closes. It's kind of like having a playbook so everyone knows the rules, even if you're a solo owner. Banks and investors, sometimes will require an operating agreement as well, and it helps prove that you're running your company as a real separate business and entity, not just kind of a side hustle. So while you can technically skip this, trust me, having it keeps the peace and protects your liability. Plus, you can just get a template online and use like an AI platform to build one. Pretty easy to do and definitely worth it. So next, let's cover a simple but essential step, which is getting your EIN from the IRS. So next up, your LLC needs an EIN, or an employer identification number. Now, this is basically your business's social security number, and you'll use it for taxes, opening a business bank account, hiring employees, and more. Now, the process is quick and totally free. Just head straight to the IRS website and fill out their online form, or just send in form SS4 by mail or fax if you prefer the old school methods. Never pay anyone for an EIN. The IRS issues it to you at no cost, and you'll get your number immediately if you apply online. I say that because there are different websites that'll try to kind of scam you, so don't fall for any of those. And quick tip, wait until the LLC is officially approved before applying for your EIN, since changing your LLC membership later can make things pretty tricky with the IRS. Now, with the EIN in hand, you're officially ready for the next step, which is the Texas LLC taxes and compliance. So first, Texas doesn't have a separate annual report required for LLCs, but you do have an annual public information report and a franchise tax report due every May 15th. Even if your company makes less than $2.47 million per year, which is the no tax due threshold for 2025, you still need to file the public information report, which updates the state on your business details. But there's really no filing fee for this part. But if your LLC earns more than $2.47 million annually, which good for you, you'll file the franchise tax report and pay a tax based on your company's margin. Now, for most small businesses, the franchise tax rate is 0.375 for retail and wholesale companies and 0.75% for all other businesses. And here's a tip, file everything on time using the Texas Comptroller web file portal. Mess around with late filings and you're looking at probably a $50 penalty or so for the public info report and 5 to 15% penalties for late franchise tax payments. So don't miss those. And remember also to always update the state if your LLC changes management or ownership. Texas, they do take accuracy very seriously. Now that's your blueprint for compliance. File your annual reports, know the revenue threshold, and keep deadlines in your calendar. But from here, I want to break down every expected cost to set up and run your LLC so that you know what's coming out of your pocket when you start and every year thereafter. So first, startup costs. So your certificate of formation, which is required. That's a $300 one-time state fee to make your LLC official. Next, registered agent service. This is optional, but highly recommended. If you go with Northwest Registered Agent, which I recommend, you can expect to pay $39 for the first year. Then your business name reservation. That's optional, $40 to reserve your chosen business name before you finish your formal registration. Then we have your DBA, which is your doing business as registration. Again, optional. $25 at the state level, but that varies by county if needed for another name. And then an operating agreement. This is free if you draft it yourself or use AI to help, or up to $200 if you want professional help for something like that. And then we have business licenses and permits. So that varies heavily depending on your business type and your location. Usually it can be $50 to $500 or more. So in the first year, you can estimate spending on average between $300 to $400 in most cases, excluding permits or licenses. Then let's get into the ongoing costs. So the franchise tax. $0 if your annual revenue is under 2.47 million. Otherwise, rate ranges from 0.375 to 0.75%, depending on your business type and the method of filing. Then we have the registered agent renewal. That's $125 per year if you use a professional service like Northwest Registered Agent. Then the business licenses and permit renewals. Again, that varies widely. Like I said, $50 to $500 or more, depending on your industry and location. And then we have your DBA renewal if required. That's $25 or set by your county. So ongoing after the first year, you can estimate spending between about $125 to $200 per year in most cases, excluding the permits or licenses. Now, again, to help with all this, I do advise you to use a service like Northwest Registered Agent, which again, you can click right up here to check out, as they'll really help you stay in compliance year after year while you focus on the most important thing, which is running a profitable business. Now, if you have any questions for me or you're a little bit confused about the whole process, just drop me a comment below and I will do my absolute best to help you out as soon as possible. As always, thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video.